Looks familiar. Having the entire enemy team camping in front of your spawn room in such an aggressive way that you can't step outside without winding up dead in the next 5 seconds.
So damn frustrating. I hate those moments. Not to mention when the point is controlled by the enemy, and you see your stupid teammates rushing one by one right into a certain death.
Those are definitely good examples of irritating situations amongst many others that occur all the time in low ranks competitive games, or as we like to call it, in the Limbo. In this video, we will look into what makes the Limbo such a dark place to crawl out of, and it will also give you an overview of all the topics we'll talk about on this channel.
Game on!
Hey guys, this is Alex.
See here!
And this is Overwatch Limbo, the only channel made for Overwatch competitive lost souls. So if you're confused about competitive games, you don't know how to start, or you've been playing for a while and you're still stuck in bronze, silver or gold ranks and wish to do better, embrace the Limbo with us and consider subscribing.
Thanks for the love.
But first things first, let's talk about the Limbo.
And here you are with another lecture. Prepare your pillow, guys. This is gonna be boring.
Actually, that's why you're here for, see? To spice things up. And from time to time, to share your wisdom with some catchy lines.
Whoa, I'm 600 levels above you and you want me to be your sidekick? Play support? I want to be giving main lines too. Excuse me, you're kind of being selfish here. You're like those freaking players that don't want to switch from their damn main DPS. You know, the ones that die every 10 seconds, hunted down and butchered by their counters.
What are you talking about? That's definitely not me. I'm always trying to play what the team needs.
Yeah, but you end up losing most of the time, nope.
That's not my fault. I'm doing pretty good most of the time. My teammates have a problem.
Yeah, right. And how do you know you're doing good, smartass? You lost, you moron. You didn't do good enough, and I'm pretty sure everyone in your team thinks exactly like you.
You know what? I think you're right. I'm probably not as good as I think I am. And that's also most likely true for many other players in the Limbo. So instead of reassuring ourselves with some worthless rewards, like medals and cards, we should have played differently and helped the team winning those fights. This is surely one of the reasons why some people can't make it out of the Limbo.
Because they think they're good enough and always blame others for their defeat?
Or in other words, because they don't have the right mindset. We'll come back to that in a more in-depth video later. But basically, the Limbo is filled with people that don't face losing matches properly.
You mean those people who snap easily in the middle of the fight and get mentally crushed are really toxic for stupid reasons?
Yep, those ones. Wrong mindsets and toxicity are definitely more common in lower ranks than in high-level games. Just look at this guy, getting all worked up about support not healing him.
What a joke! He's in the enemy's backline with his Genji, far from the healer's line of sight. And what does he expect? Mercy flying through walls to save his sorry ass? And on top of that, he spams the healing button. Oh, come on, man. At least be reasonable. I hate this guy already. A true warrior should find their own health pack and survive.
By the gods, I'll kill you all!
And that's just one example of how the team's harmony and therefore performance can be disrupted. Imagine then what kind of impact can have a leader on his teammates' confidence. They will probably be really discouraged and give up. But even if the match is likely to end up in a defeat, it's never 100% sure.
Okay, but honestly, in those circumstances, what can I possibly do? You instantly lose motivation and it's hard to go on.
Here's the trick. In those cases, you should try even harder. Even if the odds are against you, there's still a chance that you can win. And even if you lose, which also could have happened with a full team by the way, it's better to lose fighting until the end than getting crushed. You'll be less frustrated knowing that you did your best and that your SR loss won't be as bad since you managed to resist for a long time.
Okay, to sum up guys, if you must die, die heroically. Die with honor.
Not like this. Not like this.
Dying and losing is part of the game. You can't really avoid it. What matters is how much value you make out of each one of your deaths and your losses. In the Limbo, most of the games are unbalanced. One team will clearly dominate the match, and there's nothing much the other team can do to avoid being defeated.
Yeah, Matches are mostly unfair, and being on the wrong side of the battle a few times in a row is really discouraging and upsetting. Same average SR? My ass. Look at this lineup. One more gold rank, higher average SR? We should have won, right? Nah. We've been massacred like a squeaking boar family on a hunting day.
That's frustrating, especially since there's nothing you could have done to survive. But like I said, you can't always win, and after a losing streak, you'll probably hit a winning one, right? The matchmaking system is not mathematically unbalanced, since the 50-50 win-loss ratio is respected in all ranks. But it doesn't seem to consider some key factors that are playing a big part in the effective balance of the silver-gold games.
So, even if the matchmaking system is trying to give identical chances to both teams to win, it can't really succeed because it sucks?
Let's say that there are things that numbers can hardly show, like borrowed accounts, new players that are dropping down from their initial post-placement matches score, trolls and throwers, or people who are not using their main, for example.
Right. Noobs and assholes.
Harshly said, but yes. Newbies are also one of the main reasons why low ranks competitive games are so unbalanced. One or two on your side and the match can turn into a slaughterhouse, with you and your teammates as the sacrificial lambs.
Even if those noobs have the right mindset and they're volunteering to play support, they still suck so bad that it feels like you're missing one or two teammates.
The clip on your screen right now shows that quite well. What's the use of a support who's dying all the time and not healing and boosting anyone? You might argue that it's the team's job to protect the healers, which is true. But in this case, like in most cases in lower ranks, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. Too often people who are ending up playing support characters don't really know how to play them.
That brings me a sweet memory of that Anna who couldn't aim and was just throwing those potions at me. I did not last long living off of it. Why not just pick other supports who don't require any aiming? We have 5 other supports you could choose from. If you're not good at aiming, why does it have to be her? For fun?
Need healing. I need healing. I need healing. This will help. GG.
Having enough healers is obviously very important, but picking a support character thinking it will suffice just by doing so to bring value to the team is a mistake. Supports are not easier to play or less decisive than DPS and tanks characters.
Most of the time, good support players are the ones carrying the team to victory, to be honest.
That's why it's so difficult to win competitive matches without healers, while it's still possible without DPS or tanks.
So, I am tank main, but I may also be very good at healing. Should I pick heals from now on?
No, what I'm saying is that ideally everyone should play a character they know well, they are comfortable with, and they will perform with no matter the situation. And if it's really needed, experienced players should be the first ones to flex, not beginners.
So that's what you wanted to say, you anus. Since I am always one of the most experienced players in the team, I must heal.
Well, even if you do so, and you have one beginner in your team whose tanking is inefficient or fragging too scarce, you might still get wrecked. We'll talk about how to recognize and deal with beginner players in a further video. For now, let's just accept the fact that the Limbo is full of them, and they strongly participate to the unfairness of the games.
I really wish they could avoid picking characters that are totally useless to the fight. I'm seeing so many absurd team comp. I mean, picking Torben attack? Really? Really?
Yet, that can be as bad as having a team composed of 4 DPS, 1 tank, 1 healer, like in this comp, where the Mora was killing more than healing.
How many times do I have to back for 2-2-2 or one more heal before the match begins? You shouldn't be allowed to play comp if you haven't learned basic strategy rules. Maybe we should quiz every new player in advance to confirm they are fit to compete.
Maybe slightly raising the minimum level to access comp could do the trick. Anyway, bad team composition happens all the time. Even in high ranks games, it's just more obvious and irritating at low levels. We'll also come back to what to play and not to play at low ranks in another video because there is a lot to say. But one important thing that the losties should remember is that characters that are meta are definitely not always a must pick in low ranks.
So true. Like right now, we just started season 12 and I'm seeing Anna everywhere. She's definitely meta, right?
Yep, she is. Actually, she's by far the most picked character in Grandmaster and Master ranks right now, and her win rate is largely above the other two main healers, Moira and Mercy. The problem is that following the meta propaganda done by the community, Anna saw a huge increase in her peak rate in silver and gold games too, but since she's such a hard character to play with, her win rate is at the very bottom of the top.
Oh yeah. Silver and gold Annas? Oof.
And that's just a general example. Bad picks also depend on the map, the other characters in the team, the type of game, and a few more factors. It's actually not that easy to put together a well-rounded team. That's why it's so important that experienced players pick up and suggest ideas to optimize the synergies of a comp.
Actually, most of the time when people shut call, or at least listen to some advices, games are so much better. Too bad it doesn't happen a lot in low ranks.
True. While it's kind of mandatory to voice chat in high ranks competitive games, it's way less common in the Limbo, especially in silver, and especially on some servers with no native English-speaking players.
Damn right. We're always playing with Asians on American servers and we always have hard time communicating with them. Even though they try to cooperate, you know.
That's unfortunate, and another reason why the Limbo can be such a purgatory for a lot of players.
Yep. Communicating with your teammates is so important. I always try to shut call, but between girls bullies, raging kids, and all the other toxic players out there, it's really hard to keep it up consistently in low ranks.
Lack of communication, toxicity, negative mindsets, unbalanced games, new players, and bad team compositions form the core experience of a Limbo. Sunk into its darkness, you might fall into despair. But do not fret, dear heroes. We at Overwatch Limbo are here to cheer you up, and eventually help you sneak out of it.
So, don't hesitate to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, or the dislike one if you hated it. Tell us what we can improve or what you want us to talk about in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this one.
Thank you so much for watching, and remember, losties,
Lose SR, not your mind.
Defeat.